Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to create a card using the new Hello Frosty stamp and die set from Dare to be Artsy. I don't know if you caught our Instagram hop this past weekend, but this stamp set is just adorable with these cute little snowmen. And then of course it has all these wonderful dies that cut out the images. And so I am going to start off by using a solid hot foil plate. And I'm going to create a solid hot foil background with some of this foil from Bluebonnet Foil. I really like their foil, and this blue kind of looked like it had like a snowy background, sort of. I know it's supposed to be stars, but I'm also going to use the Slim Mini snowflake background die from Dare to be Artsy. So here I have heated up my solid hot foil plate, and I have cut my foil down and used some Hammermill 100-pound cover weight cardstock, and I have hot foiled a solid background, which turned out beautifully. And then I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to now cut out my Slim Mini snowflake background, and I am using some just white glitter cardstock from my stash to cut that out. This is a very detailed die, so I would recommend using a piece of wax paper between your die and your glitter paper, and that will actually help it release a little bit easier. And yes, I dropped my my cutting plate on the floor, so I had to reach down and pick it up, and I ended up in frame. So anyway, I'm going to run this through my die cut. I did not use wax paper, so I did actually spend a bit of time taking out all of the negatives from this die. It was a labor of love. So I need to take my own advice and use some wax paper. But either wax paper or something in between as a barrier will help the die cut, through more cleanly, and then help also release it. I'm gonna go ahead and get these negatives out off camera, and I'll be back here. Just show the corner of it. It was a little bit tricky to get those out. Next time I will be using wax paper. I need to remember that. So here I have everything cut out. I have cut my foil background down so that it fits behind the Slim Mini. And then I cut a piece. I used the background from the Slim Mini, and I cut a piece of matte silver foil for that, and I'm just going to glue the snowflakes onto the front of my foiled background here. I'm just dabbing on a little bit of glue. I wasn't sure how well it would adhere to the hot foil since it's such a slick surface, so I just made sure I got quite a bit of glue on it, and then I let it sit and dry for quite a while. I did put a stamping block on top of it to keep it. And so I'm going to go ahead and color up these images. I just used my Copic markers, and I kept it very simple. So I'll go ahead and put on a little bit of music here and let you enjoy the coloring. And I'll be back. Okay, everybody, I am back. I am just finishing up. I'm using a little bit of the Jelly Roll shimmer pin on the banner sign, and I just went over the letters. And I'm adding a little bit of sparkly detail to my images. I have gone ahead and die cut those out, and now I'm going to work on getting my images placed onto my card. I realized when I did the background and I got my images colored that my background was pretty bold. There's a lot going on with all of that foil. So I am going to use the double dot circle dies from Dare to Be Artsy, and I'm going to cut out a frame, and I've also cut out a piece of vellum, and I'm basically going to frame up my images in the center of my card. So the vellum will help tone down the background and it'll make the images pop a little bit more. So I'm cutting that out of the new, this is from the 6x6 paper pack, and this is the snowflake paper, and it is, I'll have to look up what it's called and I will list it below in the description. It's Christmas, Joy, something with joy. I can't remember right now. So I will go ahead and list that below in the description box. The 6x6 paper pad is awesome. I highly recommend it. It's a great paper. It's nice and smooth, so you can foil on it as well, I discovered. So you'll have to check out my card on my blog where I created a winter scene with Santa's reindeer, and I did foil on the snowflake paper as well. So I realized ideally this would have been perfect had I gotten my images lined up right, but you know me and my challenges for getting images lined up right and cards and everything else. So I laid everything out. I went ahead and willy-nilly glued down my tree to my acetate, not realizing that I didn't get it over far enough. So I will realize that here shortly. I'm putting dimensional foam on the back of my little snowman. I'm just trying to get that removed here. And I thought it would be good to just give him a little bit of dimension. I'm going to stick him to the back of the acetate. And I haven't quite realized it yet that I got it glued too, I got that tree glued too far over to the center. So, I'm going to go ahead and add the little banner that says peace. I'm also putting dimensional foam on the back of that. I wanted to give it a chance to kind of pop off the card. Especially since my background has a lot of detail and a lot of things going on. I wanted to make sure that these images really stood out. So I decided here to, I'm testing out where my banner is going to go on my snowman. And then I do end up, I stick down, I put the dimensional foam in the center of the banner. And then I'm going to use a little bit of glue on the ends of the banner and just glue those to his hands, his twigs, just to make sure that those get adhered down. So here I have, I'm gluing down my acetate in the center. I already have my frame adhered to the card. I used a little bit of glue on that, liquid glue. So I'm just getting my acetate put over into the center of that. And I used a little bit of liquid glue behind the snowman. And I also paired that with some score tape, and that actually works really well behind vellum because it's you really can't tell that it's there. So it's a good alternative. Obviously, if you have images, it's always good to hide your glue and stuff behind your images. So I put a little bit of glue on the ends of that banner, and I'm going to add my little tweezers here to kind of hold those in place while it dries. And this is where I realize, oh, yeah, my image is off center. So I'm going to color another Christmas tree, and I'm going to color it exactly the same. So basically green, and then I use some blues and some hot pinks for the Christmas bulbs. So just real quick coloring with my Copics here, nothing fancy. And I realized too that my shadowing is not correct based on the fact that I have to add another tree. So my original tree, the shadow and shading on it is incorrect. But you know what? It is what it is. I still think it looks good. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I think the card turned out beautiful. So it's handmade, not Hallmark, as they say. Super quick coloring here. And these images are really easy to color. I mean, realistically, it takes you no time at all to pull together a card, especially snowmen. Snowmen are super easy to color. And you can put as much detail into it or as little detail as you want. So I am just adding some finishing touches to this tree, and then I'm going to use the coordinating die and cut it out. I'm going to use a little bit of my highlighter tape just to hold that die in place while I run it through my die cut machine. Pop that image out, and you can reuse the highlighter tape. It's good for a few uses. I really like it. It's a nice thing to have in the craft room because I don't have a lot of luck with washi tape for some reason. I think it's just me. Anyway, I have cut a mini slimline card base from some 110-pound Nina cardstock. I am going to adhere my card panel to that. And then I'm going to add a few sequins in and around the center frame. I had some snowflake sequins in my craft stash. I don't even know where these came from. And they're kind of a teal blue and silver. So I just added a few of those just for a little pop of sparkle on the front. And I glued those down with some liquid glue. I realized that some of these were, some of those snowflakes were stuck together, so when I glued them down and I went to pull them up, like the top layer would come off, so it was really weird. And this is my finished card for today. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please click like and subscribe to get all of my content. Thank you so much for stopping by. Goodbye.